Hello, this is Brian McCarthy. Welcome to an online video on the critical marketing topic of pricing. We will start with a discussion of where pricing fits in the overall marketing scheme, the importance of pricing. We will discuss pricing methods and execution, what to do when faced with a pricing decision, and then we will summarize and wrap up. So looking at our broad perspective on marketing, we can see that price is one of many considerations. It is a crucial one because there is no faster way to increasing profitability or to ruining your business than pricing. We'll also see that pricing is closely connected to other areas of marketing, such as your positioning, differentiation, value proposition, and brand, among others. For centuries, very smart people have been pondering pricing and making comments about it. Adam Smith wrote The Wealth of Nations, published in 1776, and said the real price of anything includes the toil and trouble of acquiring it. And in our own century, Mr. Warren Buffett himself has said, the single most important decision in evaluating a business is whether that business has pricing power. If they have it, that's a good business. If they don't, stay away. We know that price is without question a critical part of the profit equation. Total revenue equals unit price times quantity sold. There it is. Price, total cost, of course, fixed and variable costs. And that means profit is total revenue minus total cost, and that better be a positive number. And so getting price right can have a very important impact on your profitability. Studies have shown that small variations in price can raise or lower profitability as much as 50%. There are two key considerations when we think about price. First, which pricing method will we use? A pricing method describes how a company determines its price that it will go to market with. And secondly, the pricing execution, which refers to a company's ability to actually get the price it sets. Many times this is called price realization. Let's talk about pricing methods first, and there are three broad categories of pricing methods. Number one, those that are focused on the cost of producing the product or service. Secondly, pricing by looking at what the competition is doing. And third, customer value-based pricing. Let's start with cost-focused. This is pricing decisions that are based on the product or service's cost with a focus on achieving a certain markup or return on investment. A simple example might be a shoe company that can make the shoe for $25. They sell the shoe to their wholesaler for $50. The wholesaler sells it at retail where it will be priced at $100. It is a common formula that is used in many industries to set price. You start with your cost, you double it when you sell it to your channel, and they double it when they sell it to their customers. There are some advantages to cost-focused pricing. The main advantage is that all the information you need to set your price is available if you know your costs. On the negative side, the value that customers put on the product and what the competition is doing is not factored in when you only rely on the cost to set your price. Competition-focused pricing is reactive. It looks at what competitors are doing and bases the price based upon the pricing levels that are seen. Lower if the positioning of the product is to be beneath that of the competition or above. The advantage is that you are looking at what your competitors are doing, and if you can include your own costs along with this, then you're making some progress toward a more sophisticated way of pricing your products. There are some negatives, however. Number one, customer value. The value of the product or the service to the customer is not considered. There is a greater chance of a price war if you find yourself trying to undercut your competition and they react. And then finally, profitability may suffer if you get into that situation. The third broad pricing method is generally known as customer value-based pricing. And here, pricing decisions are based on the customer's perceived value of the product. Firms, companies, organizations make money where the spread between their cost and the perceived customer value is greatest. This is a very exciting way to look at pricing. There are some advantages, such as the focus becomes the customer's needs, the product's benefits, creating additional value for the customer, and increasing the customer's willingness to pay for that value. Secondly, it can help avoid falling into the commodity trap in which your organization begins to see its product or service as a commodity and that the only way to win is to lower price. There are some negatives with customer value-based pricing. One is that customer value information is hard to discern. It requires a lot of listening, a lot of testing, some experimentation, market research in order to find out. And secondly, if you do dial it in and you are adding a lot of value and you are being compensated for it in the form of a higher price, these higher profit margins may attract some pretty good competitors. So I talked about two key considerations. The first being pricing methods. Now let's turn our attention to pricing execution, which refers to a company's ability to actually get the price that it has set. Setting the right price is one thing, getting it can be quite another. A key question is, what price are customers actually paying? We know the price that we set, but what price are customers actually paying? So let's take an example of a company with a weak go-to-market price management system. They set a price, they go to market, and they find that because of discounts, special offers, free products or services that go along with the solution to the customer, or perhaps one-sided negotiations where the customer fares better than the company, that the realized price is consistently lower than the price that was originally set. So what should the marketer do when setting prices, when developing a pricing strategy? The key is to include both pricing methods that make sense and strong price execution as you go to market. When thinking about pricing methods, be sure to understand costs, monitor the competition, and price based on value to the customer. Include all three: cost, competition, and value to the customer. That third one is hard, but by listening, by doing market research, by conducting some product testing, it can be determined what the value is to the customer. On the pricing execution side, it's important within the organization to have a pricing champion who understands how important price is to the profit equation and can help set the right standards for the organization. It is also very important to train everyone in the organization to consistently communicate to partners and customers differentiation, benefits, the company's value proposition, and then finally, sales and marketing personnel, customer service, everyone who is customer facing must be trained on what the pricing strategy is, what the benefits to the customer are, so they can clearly explain to the customer what the value is. Another way of looking at this is through this matrix, where the goal is value pricing and strong execution. On the vertical axis, we have pricing method. On the horizontal, pricing execution, and in the middle, a grid. The source of this grid is a great article that appeared in the MIT Sloan Review titled, "Is It Time to Rethink Your Pricing Strategy?" I highly recommend this article. So you can see on the vertical axis, we have our three pricing methods: cost-focused, competition-focused, and value-based. Along the horizontal axis, we have our pricing execution measurement, weak to strong. And the area where we want to be is in the upper right, where we're using cost, competition, and value-based pricing, and our go-to-market pricing management is very strong and disciplined. Let's summarize what we've covered. Pricing methods describe how a company determines its go-to-market prices. Pricing execution refers to a company's ability to actually realize or get the price that it sets. The keys are to price for value and go to market with a very strong price execution program. In this video, we talked about pricing's place in a broad marketing perspective, the importance of pricing, pricing methods, execution, and what to do about developing a go-to-market pricing strategy. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you online.